With the 2019 NFL Combine less than 2 weeks away, I'm going to give you a couple names to look out for at each position of need for the Buffalo Bills. Welcome to Believers Talk. My name is Joe, and we are going to talk NFL Combine, more importantly, position of need for the Buffalo Bills. We're going to start this series off talking about the wide receiver position. Where are the Bills going to go at wide receiver? We did talk in an earlier episode about the 2019 wide receiver free agents. I will put a link in this video so you guys can definitely check that out after you're done checking out this video. But we want to talk now about the NFL Combine, about the NFL Draft. I did rank my top 10 wide receivers, so I'm going to go down that list. And also, I'm going to give you some guys who might be the next Robert Foster or something like that. They might get drafted day 3 and turn out to be better than some people projected them to be. So let's go through my top 10 first, and then we'll get to those names. Guys, there are over 50 wide receivers in this year's draft class. About 50 of them invited to the NFL Combine. Obviously, we can't talk about all of them, okay? We cannot talk about all of them. If you want to look them up, you can definitely do that. Just go to 2019 NFL Combine invitees. They will separate that for you so you can look at all the wide receivers. But I'm going to give you my top 10, and I'm going to give you 3 names to look out for. Maybe during the Combine, see how they do, see if they help their draft stock or not, and then also players' names to look out for on draft day as well. Where do those 3 guys land? Will they fall to Buffalo? Are those 3 guys Buffalo's interested in? So before we do that, however, thank you for joining me on Believers Talk. My name is Joe. If you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. Not only do we have you covered on all things Buffalo Bills, we keep you covered on all Buffalo sports throughout the season. So whether it be regular season, postseason, combine, draft, free agency, all of it, we're going to have it all right here for you on Believers Talk. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, leave me a comment. Maybe you know a name of a wide receiver you like who I don't mention. Bring them up. I know a lot of you will think Anthony Johnson will be named somewhere in here, but other than right now, he won't be. Anthony Johnson, Buffalo Bulls player, obviously. We would love to keep him in Buffalo. But let's just be honest about it. He does not crack anyone's top 10 when it comes to wide receivers. If he's available late day 3, then I wouldn't mind picking him up. But that's not where it falls. But maybe he would be someone to look out for later on in the NFL draft, especially if we don't fill that wide receiver need right away. So let's go through the top 10 real quick, guys. I think for a lot of people know some of these names in the front of the top 10. And also know this. I did this more thinking about the Buffalo Bills need, right? Some of these guys on here and some of them in your projected top 10 probably are a little higher up because they're more of a slot guy, right? I don't feel like the Bills need another slot guy. I feel like we have a bunch of slot guys. Really, honestly, we have a lot of we have I want to say Robert Woods. That's not true. Robert Foster, and then just a whole bunch of slot guys to complement him. And we need something more than that. So we need a big receiver. And when we think about a big receiver in this year's NFL draft class, where do we go? Number 1, my first wide receiver is, of course, DK Metcalf, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. You're talking 6'4", 230 pounds. Man is tall, big. You've seen some pictures of him recently working out. Man looks like he can definitely be a future number 1 Hall of Fame, number 1 wide receiver in the NFL. Guys, if we use the 9th overall pick on wide receiver, we should have our pick at wide receiver, and this is the only guy I think who's actually worth the number 9 pick. I still think it's a little too high. But if you're going to tell me right now the Buffalo Bills are choosing a wide receiver at number 9, this is the guy it has to be. DK Metcalf, wide receiver, Ole Miss. In 2018, he only played in 7 games in 2018, had 26 catches, 569 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Throughout his career at Ole Miss, he had 67 receptions, 1,228 yards, 14 touchdowns. That's 18.3 yards per catch average. So that is the number 1 on my board. Probably number 1 on a lot of big boards, although there is another wide receiver from Ole Miss, which we'll get to in a little bit. I'm down a little bit for the most that people like to talk about as well. Moving on to number 2 again, guys. Size for me does matter a little bit. You know what you're talking about. Obviously, the most important thing is the stats, and we'll get to that. There are some guys on here who are less than 6 feet tall just because of who they are. But Here, again, the Buffalo Bills looking for a taller wide receiver, and that's why I put Paris Campbell, wide receiver from Ohio State, number 2. A little bit taller for a slot receiver, 6 foot tall, obviously not the tallest guy, 205 pounds, 14 games this season, 90 catches, 1,063 yards, 12 touchdowns. Total for his career at Ohio State, you have 143 catches, 1,768 yards, and 15 touchdowns, guys. You cannot argue with the numbers. The numbers are there. Big Ten, a tough conference to play in, so we might be seeing some of that production on the NFL side. Will we see it with the Buffalo Bills? Who knows? Who knows? If we stick with the picks we have, and we don't pick Metcalf up at 9, I don't see Campbell available in the second round to us. However, he might be. Again, this wide receiver class is deep. And so a lot of times what happens in a deep class for any position is teams will hold off. Now if someone that first guy's taken, then bam, there's like a rush at that position. So wide receiver might work out the same way where, no one picks up a wide receiver for the first 10, 15 picks. And you're like, wait, everyone told me that this is a deep wide receiver class. Well, it is, and that's why no one's in a hurry to get a wide receiver. So going to my number 3, that is where you see the other Ole Miss wide receiver, A.J. Brown. Some people I see have A.J. Brown above DK Metcalf. I personally don't. But A.J. Brown, 6'1", 225 pounds. In 2018, he played in 12 games, had 85 receptions, 1,320 yards, and 6 touchdowns. His career total at Ole Miss, he had 189 catches, 2,984 yards, and 19 touchdowns. Again, you can't argue with stats, guys. Almost 3,000 yards, receiving yards. You can't beat that, and so that is why he has to be ranked in your top 5, maybe up to 2 or 1. But again, I have him down to 3 just because of the complement of DK Metcalf, A.J. Brown. I think one of those guys might not pan out in the NFL, and just by size, stature, I think that might be A.J. Brown. We go down to number 4. I got Kelvin Harmon, wide receiver at NC State, 6'2", 218 pounds. In 2018, he had 81 receptions for 1,186 yards, 7 touchdowns. In his career at NC State, 177 receptions, 2,665 yards, and 16 touchdowns. Number 5, talk about a guy who had a great Senior Bowl week, I should say. Deebo Samuel, everyone's talking about him. He's a slot guy, so I'm not sure if he fits for the Buffalo Bills, but you have to put him on this list. 5'11", 216 pounds, out of South Carolina. In 2018, 62 catches, 885 yards, and 11 touchdowns. His total for his career, 148 catches, 2,076 yards, and 16 touchdowns. That's good for a 14 yards per catch average, so not that bad. Again, I don't know if he fits the Buffalo Bills scheme, and again, I don't know if Buffalo Bills need another short slot receiver, which is what this guy would be, but he has to be in your top 10 somewhere because he's just that good out of Clemson. So he's number 5. Number 6, Marquise Brown, 5'11", from Oklahoma. Same thing with Deebo Samuel here. Good slot receiver. Not sure if he will fit the Bills scheme. Not sure if that's someone the Bills need at this time. But if he's around maybe in the later rounds, maybe you're talking about 5th, 6th round. I don't think it's going to last that long. Maybe 3rd or 4th round, I should say. Maybe he's worth taking a flyer on. 75 catches in 2018, 1,318 yards, and 10 touchdowns. For his career, he had 132 catches, 2,413 yards, and 17 touchdowns. That's good for an over 18 yards per catch average. That's pretty great, actually, especially over in Oklahoma. So, but again, you look at the conference they play in; they score all the time in the Big 12, Pac-12, one of the 12s. I think it's Big 12. Over there. So going down to number 7, this guy I really like. I really like this guy. I would put him in my top 5, but again, the receivers ahead of him I think are just better. For the Buffalo Bills draft board, for the big board, he should be in their top 5 as far as wide receiver. Personally, in my opinion, let me know what you think. At N'Keal Harry, 6'4", 216 pounds, out of Arizona State. Again, size matters in this league, and wide receiver at 6'4" will create matchup problems against a lot of cornerbacks in the NFL. So you're talking about in 2018, 73 catches, 1,088 yards, and 9 touchdowns. For his career, 213 catches, 2,889 yards, and 22 touchdowns. Another thing I like about Harry is he knows how to run the ball. They run those wide receiver sweeps, those reverses. He had 23 rushes for 144 yards and 3 touchdowns. Again, these numbers don't lie. That's great because then you can use him in a couple different ways, a couple different formations, which is very important when you're talking about offense, trying to confuse that Bill Belichick character over there in New England and see if we can do one-up him, win that chess match for once. That'd be awesome. But N'Keal Harry, 6'4", 216 pounds. Arizona State ranked him number 7 on my wide receiver board. And then number 8, you got JJ Arcega-Whiteside, 6'3", 225 yards out of Stanford. Some people have this guy ranked in their top 5, and I can understand why. If you watch this man's film, he has a great tape out of Stanford. He's looking good. 2018, he had 63 catches, 1,059 yards, 14 touchdowns. Total, he had 135 catches, 2,219 yards, and 28 touchdowns. Number 9, we go down this list. We're talking about David Sills, 6'3", 210 pounds out of West Virginia. In 2018, he had 65 catches, 986 yards, and 15 touchdowns. Total for his career at West Virginia, he had 132 catches, 2,097 yards, and 35 touchdowns. And that's why this guy has to be ranked high up there on that list. 35 touchdowns in 3 seasons, or yeah, I think it was only 3 seasons, is pretty unreal. Like, that's averaging more than 10 touchdowns. Obviously, if you know anything about math, you know over 10 touchdowns a season. You can't deny the numbers. Again, that's why he is listed in my top 10. Then you go down to number 10. And number 10 was close, and I'll tell you, probably 10A, 10B type situation going on. 10A, I would put Miles Boykin, and again, this might be just because of the size, again, maybe even higher on the Buffalo Bills draft board particularly, but you're talking about 6'4", 220 pounds out of Notre Dame. Again, you're talking 6'4", you're talking about a little bit of a size differential, you're talking about maybe some mismatches in the NFL. You're talking 59 catches, 872 yards, and 8 touchdowns in 2018. 77 catches, 1,206 yards, and 11 touchdowns in his career at Notre Dame. Guys, you might call me a little biased. If you know me, if you watch this channel, you know that I do like Notre Dame as one of my favorite college teams in the college ranks as far as all sports, and Notre Dame's pretty good at all sports. Not as good as those Buffalo Bulls, baby, but I do watch some Notre Dame football, basketball, and I enjoy watching that. So maybe a little biased there, but then you look at my 10B, I'm going Riley Ridley, 6'2", 200 pounds out of Georgia. 2018, he had 43 catches, 559 yards, 9 touchdowns, 69 catches in his career at Georgia, 1,015 yards, and 13 touchdowns in that tough SEC conference. So those are my top 10 wide receivers, I should say. Top 10, maybe you should watch during the combine, see what happens, see how they do, how they perform, see their 40 times. Wide receiver is one of those positions, wide receiver and run back especially. If you have a fast 40 time, it's just going to improve your draft stock. We've seen it time and time again where someone has a fast 40, hasn't had the college resume people would normally like, but you have a fast 40 time, bam, all of a sudden you're a first-round draft pick. So I won't be surprised if during the combine you see a guy that I maybe didn't name have a fast combine or a fast 40 time, and then all of a sudden, bam, cracks the top 10 in a lot of people's wide receiver big boards, if you want to call it that. So, but now I want to talk about some guys who might be underrated, who might not even get drafted, who might be the next Robert Foster. Listen for these guys during the NFL Combine. See how they do, and maybe we'll hear more from them on NFL Draft Day, but we'll see what happens. These are the 3 guys that I say, hey, watch these guys. Let's think about maybe drafting these guys late instead of wasting, or using, I should say, an early pick on a wide receiver when we have so many positions of need. So first, I want to talk about Hakeem Butler, wide receiver, Iowa State, 6'6", 225 pounds. He is the tallest wide receiver in this draft class at 6'6". Again, match up problems all day, but he's not that fast, and that's kind of the problem that you see with him in the NFL, is he might create matchup difficulties with corners as far as size go, but as far as speed goes, safety help isn't far behind most of the time, and that would create a little bit of an issue for Hakeem Butler. In 2018, he had 60 catches for 1,318 yards and 9 touchdowns. Next, Jazz Ferguson. First of all, I'm a huge fan of jazz music, but that has nothing to do with this video. So Jazz Ferguson, wide receiver in Northwestern State, 6'5", 223 pounds. Again, it's the size thing, guys. You're talking about tall, big guys creating those matchup problems. 66 catches, 1,117 yards, and 13 touchdowns. So I really like him. I liked his tape. I watched a lot of his tape, and I recommend you guys watch it just to see how well he does. But he's not nearly as good as this guy. Out of these three guys, this is the guy I like the most, Lil Jordan Humphrey. Now, don't let the name fool you. He's not little. He's not little, or Lil. I don't know. Lil Jordan Humphrey. I'm not sure. You guys tell me how to say it. Wide receiver out of Texas, 6'4", 225 pounds. In 2018, he had 86 catches, 1,176 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Guys, this guy's a fighter. If you watch this, again, speed's an issue, right? A lot of these taller guys, maybe speed's an issue, so watch their 40 times, these three guys in particular. But if you watch this guy play in Texas, man, he's a fighter. He's got a little bit of that dog in him, if you know what I mean, like that fight in him that you love to see out of these players. Breaking tackles, fighting for extra yards, doing his thing. I really like this kid, Lil Jordan Humphrey. Again, watch him at the NFL Combine and tell me what you guys think. And obviously, we'll have you covered right here on Believers Talk for the NFL Combine. Coming up end of February, beginning of March, we will have you covered right here. So we'll go over the wide receivers position again. Who impressed, who didn't, who might have degressed, who might have hurt the draft stock, who helped it the most. We'll go over all that and so much more right here on Believers Talk. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. Guys, let me know what you think. Did I not mention wide receiver that, like, Joe, where's this guy? We'll talk about it. I love reading your guys' comments. I love getting back to you. So leave a comment, leave a like, hit that thumbs up button, and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. That's what I'm trying to say. There we go. Hit that notification bell after you subscribe, because we go live all the time. We are going to be live for the NFL Draft, guys. We went live for a Buffalo Sabres game just this past Sunday. We're going to be live for every single Buffalo Bills game again next season. So you want to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and keep watching as we continue to keep you updated on all Buffalo Bills sports. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Joe. Hit that like button, hit that notification bell, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Twitter's in the link below, so you want to follow me there. Do some polls on there as well. I'll see you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.